stacks in this thing. And today I want to go over an update for my Herald of Perfection Zoodiac list. So this is the list I just took last Monday. I got 4th place with, and it's updated from the last version. It's gotten a lot better. It's crazy. Like as many times as I think that this deck can't get better, it's somehow, some way I find like some strange card that I didn't know about. Like it's just crazy, but it's just gotten so much better. And I love it. The way the Zoodiacs work with the deck is like once you have Herald on board, you just want fairies. And what the Zoodiacs do is just let you just draw fairies. And my ideal playstyle in this deck is I just want to draw a hand with minimum 5 fairies because you'll already have a Trident. So successfully, you have an out to 6 of their cards in their hand. Because of course, you're going first, they're going second, so they'll start with 6. And if you have 5 fairies in your hand, you have 5 of their 6 cards covered, and Drident will cover the 6 cards. So naturally, you play through everything they have. And that's if all 6 of their cards are playable. Because not every single person opens up with 6 playable cards. Not even I do. You know, they might have that one TERRORTOP and that one Barrage that's playable, and then everything else would have been, you know, just stuff like what would have went with the combos. But that's my ideal playstyle with this deck is pretty much, you know, I'll open up with my Herald. I want my Zoo combo. I don't resolve the Zoo combo for the Trident. I could care less about the Trident. All I care about is drawing fairies. I don't really care about Whiptail, nothing like that. I'm not saying that the Zoo stuff is bad. I'm just saying that that's how much I value it. Like, I could really care less about the Zoo. So if my Tridents get Kaiju, you know, if my field gets answered, I don't care because all those XYZs, the Invoker, the Emerald, the Trident, those are all there simply to give me fairies for Herald. So you can say that the Zoodiacs are just icing on the cake, and like literally, even if the True King Dinos, like if they banish my Norden and stuff, take my Zoo combo, that's one clutch thing about my deck. It still functions without it. So again, I just really love it. Love it so much. And again, it's so funny when people like think they like, because for example, you know, when I played at the event, you know, so my slumber interrupted Kaiju slumbered my entire field. You know, my Trident, I had Emerald, and I also had a Tiger Mortar that had a Whiptail under it. And I had, of course, my MX Saber Invoker. He killed all of that. And, you know, he's like, dang, bro, your turn was so long. It sucks for you. And then I'm, like, laughing at him because he doesn't even realize, like, I have everything I need in my hand. He answered to that board. Next turn, I just summoned Herald. And then I summoned Herald first. And then I went into my stick chair so I could use Herald in case he tried to stop my stick chair. It was stupid. And I answered to everything he had. And it was a true Draco Zoodiac player. And I answered to him well. It was insane. Moving forward to the actual extra deck without any further rambling. 3 of the Herald of Perfection. This guy is insane. This is the main reason why I play this deck. He's so good. This guy is just freaking clutch. He opens chain links on himself. He just says no to everything. And he also says no to hand trap. This guy makes all my monsters like hand trap. So why do I need, you know, a Ghost Ogre or a Ghost Ash? I have Herald. You know, he makes my fairies the ultimate hand traps. Honestly, these are better hand traps than your Ghost Ash. And I don't have to pay, $90 for that big 4-headed fire chick. I got Herald. So I just love this guy. Just so clutch. The skill for interactions. And with this guy on field, most people just think that you're stupid. Like, most people try to bait him. And when you've been playing this deck as long as me, because honestly, I've been playing this deck for 13 years, you understand that, like, most of the time, the first 2 to 3 cards that your opponent plays are going to be the baits, because naturally a skillful player will think to himself, all right, I'm going to need to save 2 cards for an actual play, and I need to play around this Herald. So the first 3 cards are going to be baits. So what I do most of the time, I let them happen. Like, if my opponent, you know, resolves like a Barrage, for example, I'm not going to negate the Barrage. I'm going to let him go into his combo and see how far he's going to push. And if he was just going to go into the Whiptail just to try to attack, even if Whiptail would attack Herald at the end of the damage step, Whiptail still activates and Herald can negate the Whiptail and kill it. So it's like, cards like that, like people think I'm scared of like a Barrage. I don't negate the Barrage. I could care less. And like I know which cards to stop. I'm going to negate your Fusion sub and I'm going to let that hit the grave and it's just gone. You feel me? It's done for. Like, it's just certain cards that I'll let slide. Even stuff that most people thinks it's a threat. Like, you got to understand, man. You don't want to negate everything, even though Herald of Perfection is that clutch. And you might have all the fairies. Sometimes you want to just conserve your resources. And you only want to negate what's important. Because, you know, like, for example, sometimes I actually let my opponent play Yugioh. Like, you know, I had Herald and I actually let him do his shenanigans. And funny thing, he ended up going too far because he thought I didn't have answers. Because maybe I let him, you know, one too many effects resolve and he thought I just didn't have any fairies because he knows I'm playing Zoodiac, so maybe in his mind he's like he probably has nothing but Beast Warriors, so he just started going off, and then that's when I really started reacting with my Herald. And unfortunately he ended up with 0 monsters instead of what he was going for, because he ended up trying to like go too far on his Zoodiac combo. And honestly, I would have stopped on the Emerald and the Drident, but he wanted to go too far. Instead of stacking the Drident, he chose to stack into the Tiger Mortar and then use the Tiger Mortar and then reattach the Rat and then go too far. But when he went into the Tiger Mortar, I answered to that. It was done for. But yeah, I'm sorry, I wasted too much time talking about Herald, but this guy's he's the man, you guys. You have to understand he's the best monster in the game of Yu-Gi-Oh! There's no better boss monster than Herald, because no monster actually can negate as much as he can. He's like literally the definition of like negation. It's like, oh man, like a card like Unending Nightmare. It just doesn't stop, dude. And then 3 Pom Pom Girl, she is so clutch. She accesses all my resources. I love her. Resolving her just once or twice gets you so far, because once you get that stick share combo, you're going to get 3 fresh cards, and you might get the Zoos, and you might get 5 fresh cards, and then you might end up having another Herald on board. It's crazy. And then, of course, moving forward to 3 Handy Manny, you have to play 3 of him in this build. I was playing 2 previously, and I was realizing that that 1 extra normal summon really does matter. So instead of 2 Whiptails, I decided to cut one of my copies of Zoodiac Whiptail for a 3rd Manju. In the previous build, I actually decided to cut the 3rd Manju for 2nd Whiptail, and I'm like, okay, that's cool. 2 Manju, 2 Whiptail. My problem was not only was I drawing the Whiptail too much, but I did like a bunch of test hands where I had Whiptail in my hand, and basically I did the test hands in a theory at if this Whiptail would have been the 3rd Manju, and basically every test hand that I played with the Whiptail when I had it, if it would have been Manju, Manju would have made the hand like a game-winning hand. Like I would draw like Benton and then Donna the Herald and then like Whiptail. If the Whiptail was Manju, I could have just normal summoned him and then searched out Herald because you already have Benton and Don. So that's how I was like, you have to play 3 of him now. You have to, absolutely have to. Especially him being your normal summon for your Zoodiac combo, this almost guarantees your Herald. Like if you have your Barrage, right? When you resolve your Barrage, you're going to need a monster to normal summon because Rapier is at 2. You normal him, you search out your Benton, you're more than likely going to draw the other 2 cards you need for Herald. So just having him as part of the Zoodiac combo in rotation lets you get to your Herald faster. Again, just arguably the most important combo piece and the best normal summon for the Zoodiac combo. And then for the standalone guys, we have 3 of the Star Seraph Scepter, which is pretty much his rod, because you know this is Herald Perfection and this is his staff and this is his throne. Every time I summon Herald, you guys have seen it 1,000 times. Every time I summon Herald in my duel videos, I pull out that stick in that chair, because naturally every time you summon Herald, you search out the pieces anyways. So think of it as you have no choice but to get your Star Seraphs if you want to play your Herald. So it's pretty clutch. I like it a lot. It's like guaranteed. And there's not a single game when I don't have this, even if I don't resolve it. Sometimes I end up discarding the stick in the chair when I was trying to save them, but then like there's 2 plays that would have been like, you know, like he saved that Instant Fusion or saved that Barrage, and I'm like, dang, he's down to 2 cards in hand. I thought I could have saved these 2. Now I'm gonna have to give up my stick and chair because I don't want him to play around my Herald. So you know, I'll sacrifice the stick and chair sometimes, but every game I pretty much have it. Moving forward to the Speed Red engine, so we're playing 3 auto tops. Just having this card in hand, this in like a pre-prep or this in a Manju, you're gonna have Herald no matter what. It's just so clutch. This is insane. I freaking love this card, and it loves me. And the guy you never want to draw, but you absolutely have to play him. And you know, funny thing, here's something really cool. My TERRORTOP had got Ghost Ogred. His effect still went off to search the Takum Tom board, and then Instant Fusion, Norden's effect target TERRORTOP, special summon TERRORTOP, and then special Takum Tom board going to MX8 Invoker. And Norden is the free level 4, so I didn't even have to have a... So basically, it was like, when I resolved my TERRORTOP, my opponent basically made my combo even better because I didn't have a monster to normal summon, so I wasn't going to be able to do the full Zoo combo. So I was going to search Whiptail instead of Luna Light because I knew I wasn't going to be able to do the combo ending with the Drident. But when he Ghost Ogred my TERRORTOP, he doesn't realize that his stupid hand trap that he thought did so much for him just not only wasted a card from his hand, which is 1 less for me to negate, but it actually made my combo playable. He gave me the level 4 I needed, because when I played Instant Fusion and summoned Norden and used Norden to summon TERRORTOP from grave, Norden was still left on the field as the level 4 that I would have needed to normal summon. Still special this guy, still went into Invoker, went into my combo, still made Herald, and the Ghost Ogre actually helped me. So thank you for the Ghost Ogre, you feel me? I actually don't even I'm not even scared of like hand traps like that. That's pretty awesome. And stuff like the Ghost Ash chick, she's pretty easy to bait because this deck is all searching. So most people, because they don't, Zoodiac Herald is not like a meta deck. Nobody knows which card to stop. Most people like, you can play TERRORTOP to bait out the Ghost Ash. You can play Ritual Sanctuary, Terraforming. You know, most of the time they'll stop Terraforming this as a diagram. You can like normal Manju to bait it out. It's so many ways to bait out Ghost Ash. I don't care about the hand traps. Ghost Ash and Ghost Ogre do not kill me. What I can lose to is Max C because I do go a little too hard sometimes. And moving forward to 2 copies of Ratatouille. I might start calling this guy Orange Chicken. I'm not sure yet, but tell me what you guys think. Zoodiac Orange Chicken or Ratatouille. We might stick with Ratatouille just because Zoodiac Orange Chicken might be a bit offensive. So I think I'm just going to keep calling homeboy Ratatouille. And then, of course, 1 Queen of the Snakes. She was at 2, and honestly, Whiptail Beatdown is extremely clutch. I wish I was playing a second one. Just having one less of her, it really does make a difference, because like that's one less target for your barrage and for your broad bull, which just all in all could be good for you. But I felt that the third module was more important, because again, this is Herald of Perfections, so the Zoodiac is not the main focus. So I felt that if I put the Whiptail over the Manju, in a way I would be putting the Zodiacs over the Herald, and I don't want to do that. It's still all about Herald. Zoo is just here to help you to draw more fairies so you can still win. And of course, Luna like Black Sheep, she actually makes your hands like playable. And okay, so here's something really cool. So I think you guys remember that game that I told you about from when I went to Houston Regionals and I lost the Flying C. So here's something that I didn't realize. If I had a Speedroid, if I had TERRORTOP or Takum Tomborg in my hand during that duel, I could have attributed Flying C and the Speedroid to summon my Herald. So that was something else I wanted to point out to you guys. I didn't have the Speedroid in hand, but I realized that. So that's something else that's really makes the Speedroid engine that much more powerful in Herald of Perfection specifically, especially because you're playing Zoodiac. Like, most people don't want you to stick chairs, so the Flying C is a side deck staple for some reason. Like, a lot of people are playing it. And what the Flying C, even though it will prevent me from XYZing, because it's a level 3, all I need now is any of my Speedroids. So I might be happy even if I have Takum Tomborg in my hand. I might be happy that time. And I'll tribute them both to some of my Herald, getting rid of the Flying C. So that was something else which I really thought was cool that I want to share with you guys, which is extremely skillful interactions. And most people wouldn't even think, most people don't think that way. They don't think you can play around that. But I had thought to myself, dang, if only I had that Speedroid, I could have did that. But yeah, I definitely want to share that with you guys, just to stress that the Speedroids are so clutch in so many different ways. It's not just for the Invoker play. Like I told you with that Instant Fusion when it came clutch, and with the Flying C, if I would have had it, it actually would have saved my life. So the Speedroid engine is never going anywhere. It's going to stay. It's too good. And Black Sheep, she makes your hands better a lot of the times, because she's a level 2. And level 2 and any level 4, you can still summon your Herald of Perfection without Benton. And cool thing, you can add her back to your hand off of Donna Herald, then discard her, add a spell, then discard that spell with Ritual Sanctuary, just to add an extra fairy for negates. So sometimes she'll make your awkward hands actually playable. And then moving forward to the spells, we have 3 pre-preps and 1 of the actual prep. All of these are +2s, and either one of them can get you extremely far ahead of the game, depending on the situation. This is something you can resolve when you're going first. This is something that gives you that really clutch comeback. Insane skill for interactions. This card is bae, and the fact that I can recycle it, this card has won me way too many games. Like, you guys don't understand how strong prep is, like, in this deck, because my most important spell is Dawn of the Herald, and if that spell gets negated, this gets me right back to it. And not only that, but gives me an additional fairy for my Herald. So it basically makes my Herald even more deadly than it would have already been. It's such a clutch card, and again, just such a skillful interaction. This is like your get out of jail free card. You definitely want to save this. So when you already have your Herald and you have this in hand, you want to, again, play the Dawn of the Herald first, try to bait out whatever they have, and then play this at the Dawn back. That way you can still play your Herald. And you'll bait out the warning and still summon Herald of Perfection, which is insane. With the warning being out the way, you're just free to play, you know, you're just free to play at your heart's extent. 3 Zoodiac Barrage. So this is similar to pre-prep because it just gets you extremely far. In so many different circumstances, Zoodiac Barrage is just a lot of times a much better card than pre-prep. Even though pre-prep gets me 2 of the 3 cards I need, a lot of times Zoodiac Barrage will get me Herald, but it'll also get me like Stick Chair, and it'll still get me, like, this sometimes will get me through half of my deck, like just this one spell. Because like it'll draw like that 1 level 4 that I needed to normal summon for the combo, and then bam, and then before you know it, you end up just going through your whole deck and you have everything you needed, and you didn't even realize that you just started with the Barrage, and the Barrage got you there. It's just such a clutch card, and the fact that I can recycle it with this bad boy right here makes my deck a lot better than Zoodiac's, because even though Zoodiac combo can recycle any Zoodiac cards, most people only play it on 1 for sure. And a combo has to target 5 different names, so they can't target multiple barrages. So Zoodiac players in Pure Zoo can put back 1 of their barrages. So technically, they should be able to resolve barrage 4 times in a duel maximum. My deck can resolve barrage as many times as I want. It's literally infinite. As long as I can keep putting Zoodiac monsters back into my deck for barrage to have targets, I'll have barrage forever. The maximum times I've actually resolved barrage in a duel is actually only 3. Funny because I have 3 copies, but the cool thing is the barrage that I resolved, like the first 2 that I resolved ended up getting put back into the deck, which actually was the reason why I think I drew the 3rd one, because basically it's like I had 3 copies of barrage fresh in my deck, but my deck wasn't at 40, it was like half of that. So imagine like I had even a higher chance of drawing the Barrage. So it's just such a good card. And again, the fact that you can recycle it with Ritual Sanctuary makes your Zoodiac combos insane. So again, I think this is definitely the #1 best build, not only for Herald of Perfection, but for Zoodiac. And it's even better. I can't wait till you guys see my side deck, because there was one thing that made my other Herald of Perfection list better than this one, which the pure list was better than the Zoodiac, and that one thing, I actually found a way to incorporate it. So now my deck has every single strength, but none of the weaknesses. So it's extremely powerful, and this is the list for me, you guys. I don't care win or lose, this is what I'm taking. Double Optimus Prime, because it just gets you so far. Loading your grave with spells, and effectively, it's an extra combo piece for your Herald, or even another fairy. 2 instant ramen. This gets you so far. Even playing it at 2 is just good enough for me. Naturally, you don't really want to see it opening hand. This is something like a combo extender, so it's like a card that you just want to draw into it in the middle of resolving your Zoodiac combo. Because again, like I said, it's just a combo extender. And sometimes you don't want to overextend, which is another reason why you play it at 2. Because if you have this in your opening hand, like playing it at 3, if you have it in open your hand, you're gonna be tempted to play it because it's a good card and it's gonna tempt you to play it. So playing it at 2 also just helps you to basically discipline yourself. And 2 copies of Fusion Substitute. Now I actually tested this card at 3 today for 2 or 3 hours, and it was extremely insane. I actually had too much. That's the reason why I took the 3rd Fusion Sub. So when I tried out the 3rd Fusion Sub, here's what ended up happening. I had double Herald of Perfection, I had Drident, I had Emerald, and I had MX Saber Invoker. Those are 5 monsters. I had Ritual Sanctuary. I had already recycled 4 spells off of Ritual Sanctuary's effect. So my grave was pretty much like empty. I had like two or three monsters left in grave. No spells, no monsters. Emerald. I basically had a free board, and everything that I used for it was put back into my deck. Not only that though, I had 8 cards in my hand, but guess what? 7 of the 8 cards were fairies. So I was able to set 1 spell, but I ended up having to discard a fairy. And I thought to myself, if that was 2 fairies right there, that was just too much. Basically, it was way too much sauce, bro. Like if that was 2 fairies, I basically would have been wasting resources. So actually, the 3rd Fusion Sub, I'm going to say it like this. It's overkill. It's a little bit too much. The deck, it's at its limit as far as potential. Like, if you can make it better, but if you make it better, you're going to be doing too much, because then you'll end with boards where you don't have enough room to summon monsters and you have too many cards in hand. And the thing with that is you're playing through too much of your resources too early in the game. If I'm making sense, you guys, if you know what I'm saying, you don't want to play through too much of your resources too early in the game at the offset chance that it might turn into a grind game and you have to flip the switch to helmet mode. And if you've expended so much of your resources because you played 3 Fusion Subs and you dig through so much, now you'll have less access to the cards that you needed to begin with. So there's a lot of good theories behind why I play 2, but there's also a lot of good theories behind why you should play 3. But if you play 3, trust and believe, your deck, it'll be ridiculous, and your deck will be like that freaking insane. You will literally draw too much cards because you can only have 6, and at the end phase, you're always going to have to discard. That happens to me even now while I'm playing 2. So it'll just be like way too broken. If you play 3, honestly, it's not going to hurt you, but I'm just telling you, it's going to make your deck way too broken, which is actually a good thing, but for some reason, I don't know why that's bad to me, which is strange, you guys, because it's like too broken, like stuff in Yu-Gi-Oh that's too broken. That's what everybody wants to play, but for some reason, I don't want my deck to be too broken, because like I said, I don't want to play through more than half of my deck. Like I think half of it in one turn is like the max limit, because even if I have like a well-established board, there is somehow, some way, a possibility for my opponent to play through it. I need to still have backup copies of stuff in my deck to be able to access for combos, especially for stuff like Barrage. And the final spell is 1 Raigeki. Now, I had to incorporate this into the main deck instead of siding it because I needed space for 1 more card in my side deck, so I decided to just literally take this out the side, put it into the main to give me space for 1 more slot in my side deck. And that will do it for the main deck. It was 42 cards. Raigeki made it 43 cards, but it does not hurt at all. In fact, the deck is so consistent and so broken that 40 cards was a bit too small when I was playing the 40 card zoo. It was just ridiculous. And also, what's strange, when I was playing the 42 card zoo, I was drawing Lunalight Black Sheep and Fusion Sub a lot more often. But now that I'm playing 43, it's like I draw Lunalight Black Sheep and Fusion Sub less, which I like. So I think 43 is like perfect. 43 or 42 in between there. Extra deck. So we have Elder Entity Norden, MX Saber Invoker, and the Phantom Knight's Breaksword. Now this is here for this reason. There was a game when I had resolved my Speedroid TERRORTOP and went into my Invoker, right? But here's the thing, I opened triple TERRORTOP. So I need to that's the first thing I should have said. I opened triple TERRORTOP, right? I'm pissed. I'm like, I bricked, but you know, at least I have my Zoo combo. So I go into Invoker, but he strikes my Invoker's effect. And I'm like, you know, that was actually smart that he strike the Invoker and not the TERRORTOP to get the Invoker out of my extra deck. But where he messed up was I still special summoned my TERRORTOP, normal summoned the other one, overlaid those two into the Breaksword. So like this guy, he helped me so much, like it was just ridiculous. And funny thing is, like, before I entered the event, I put this card in like literally as a last minute tech, because in playtesting I actually did draw too many TERRORTOPs, and I was scared moving into the event, like what if there's a duel when I'm playing somebody and actually draw too many TERRORTOPs. So this guy was a very, very smart choice for me, because what I thought would happen actually did happen, and I drew triple TERRORTOP, not 2 but 3 TERRORTOPs. And while it seemed like a bad hand, the triple TERRORTOP actually was a game-winning hand, because I played through his strike and I was able to out some of his other problematic cards, and I still was able to just get my game state popping. It was just really, really clutch. I loved it. It was so good. So Breaksword is definitely going to stay. And it's just a great alternative option because you're playing the TERRORTOP. And if you already have resolved your Zoodiac Barrage, again, it just gives you another way to play through your opponent's board going second. So I really love it. Breaksword is just such a skillful card. It's like a sack. If you use it the right way, this card can just win you games. I just definitely think it deserves a place in my extra deck. Over the Totem Bird. Breaksword is so much more skillful than Totem Bird. Totem Bird reacts to so many different spells and traps, but Breaksword can play through spells, traps, and monsters. So I just love him. He's a lot more versatile in that sense. And then the 2 Daigusto Emerald. So these 5 cards are basically necessities. If you're playing Zoodiac, so you have to play them, except for the Breaksword. Then the actual Zoo stuff is 2 Roadkill, 2 Chicago Bulls, 1 Bacon Bits. So Tiger Mortar. Now, this girl actually won me a game because I was in an extremely, extremely clutch grind game, and I had I was down to my my last emerald, and my emerald had no materials, right? I have Herald of Perfection, I have Daigusto Emerald on board, and I literally have no cards in hand. And then I top deck my Zoodiac Whiptail. I normal summon Whiptail. I stack Tiger Mortar on top of the Whiptail, use Tiger Mortar's effect, reattach a material to the Daigusto Emerald, use Daigusto Emerald's effect to draw a card. Dude, I drew the pre-prep. I came back into the game. It was so freaking clutch. Like, Tiger Mortar is the tits, dude. You guys don't understand. So many people don't, like, understand how powerful she is. Most people, what do? They use Tiger Mortar, what? Detach, reattach, Thorblade, or Whiptail from graveyard just to give a Zoodiac attack, right? People forget, Tiger Mortar can give your MX Saber Invoker an extra material for, you know, your Zoodiac combo. What she did for me in that game, she gave my Daigusto Emerald an extra material, which drew me the pre-prep. And need not mind you, I was top decking, so I had no cards in hand at that moment. So that was like a really, really clutch comeback. Like, Tiger Mortar is just so extremely powerful. She gives you extra pops for your Breaksword. Like, oh my goodness, she literally targets a Zoodiac and a monster and any XYZ monster on the field. So she literally is the definition of overextending your combos. Any XYZ monster, your Evil Swarm Ouroboros, your Daigusto, your Satellarknight Deltaros, if you're grinding it out and Dweller is like so clutch for the Dino matchup in the True Draco, you've already used both his effects, you need it again. Tiger Mortar on the Dweller, give the Dweller an additional material. Tiger Mortar is by far probably the best Zoodiac for me right now, just because of what she did. I was favoring Brabo and Drident like a lot, and I'm not gonna lie, all the Zoodiacs are broken, especially this guy, because like a lot of times I just attack directly for game and he helps me. This guy is insane for the combos. She's just really, really a thorn in your opponent's side. But Tiger Mortar was that card. Like, I feel like Tiger Mortar is by far the most skillful Zoodiac out of all of them because of what you can do with her. And your skill level, depending on how good you are of a player, you can do so much with this card. Drident is definitely a skillful card as well, because there are times when I've just had Drident and my opponent played Kaiju Slumber, chain Drident's effect, pop herself, Slumber can't resolve because there's no monsters. And the time when my opponent mind controlled my Zoodiac Drident and I chain Drident, pop it, so he couldn't take control of my mind control. Whether or not he was playing it to bait my Drident, the thing was, I didn't give him the Drident. So Drident is a skillful card because she not only plays on your opponent's turn, but she lets you pop your own stuff, which can help you to combo off in insane ways. But in just, oh my god. This girl is the one right now. I'm sorry, but Tiger Mortar is like the best right now. I really think you guys are underestimating the power of Tiger Mortar. What she did for me, like, I wouldn't have won that game if it wasn't for Tiger Mortar, straight up and down. I'm loving her. But anyways, Chaka 9 for the combo. You absolutely have to. If I was playing Hammer Kong, Chaka 9 lets you to just, basically by making Chaka 9, you get Hammer Kong and you get Drident off of one Chaka 9, which is really clutch. Literally, one Chaka 9, Hammer Kong, Drident. It's so good. Drident can't be targeted now, so you can't Drident the Drident in the mirror match. And the last three XYZs are the Dweller and, you know, the Star Seraphs. So, like, as far as the zoos, you know, my bare minimum for zoos was definitely just the 7, you know, the two Drident, the 2 Bravo, and then, you know, the other 3 standalone guys. That was the bare minimum. And then, as you can see right here, these 5 cards you absolutely have to play. So, as you can see, like, it's basically like 7, 12 cards are like your actual, like, you have no choice. And then you have space for, like, 3 free targets. But in a sense, you have to play Stick Chair. So, like, Dweller was, like, the only card, like, I had space for. And then the other card would have been the Gaga Samurai, but Homeboy just couldn't make it because there's just one more card that I put over it. And it basically, you know, that was actually a better choice than that. Hold on, you guys, real fast. I'm about to get the door. Oh, what's happening first? What's up here? Nah. I don't know where Preacher's at right now, man. Yeah, I called him yesterday. Yeah, I haven't seen him in a minute, bro. Alright. My bad, you guys. I apologize for that. I just had some company over real quick. Somebody was trying to pick up some weed. But anyways, all right, so we're going to go ahead and move forward with the side deck. And I do apologize that I'm talking a little bit too much, but I wanted to go in-depth and also explain everything about this deck because you guys have to understand that if this deck goes first, it really does win. Just literally, just plain and simple. And some decks, you can argue and say that they do that, but most of the decks that people say do that, they're so combo-oriented that they have to open an extremely specific way. For example, like Metaphors, Yang Zins, they brick a lot, so it's like 50% of the time you'll brick, and 50% of the time if you go first, you'll win. So like decks like those, you know, like they're like a gamble. Even like the True King Dinos, you have to open like a specific, you know, 1 or 2 or 3 cards. With this deck, like you have 1 and 2 card combos, but also in addition to you having 1 or 2 card combos, you have multiple ways to search those combos. Like you have 3 different ways to search that, and the 3 different ways to search that are searchable. So it's like 67% of my deck is multiple ways to get into Herald. 13% of my deck is focused on Zoodiacs, and the rest of it is just Stick Chair and Instant Fusion. So like everything, basically I have the same openings. I already know what I'm going to open with. It's either Herald of Perfection plays, Zoodiac plays, or Stick Chair. That's it. And that's all my deck comprised of. So as you can imagine, I open the same way pretty much because that's how I build my deck. So it's extremely consistent. And like I said, that's why when my deck goes first, it actually does win because it doesn't brick. If it goes first, it's going to do the same thing. That's why you don't want this deck to go first. It's really scary when it goes first. The raw spirit modes, the kaijus, double slumber, and double dark hole. These are just really, really clutch. Most of the time, the true Draco masterpiece is unaffected by traps and monsters. Reason being is because they have to play that trap to, you know, tribute summon him on your opponent's turn, and naturally they're gonna need a monster on the field, you know, to tribute off because they want to make him unaffected by monsters. So the most important thing is making Masterpiece unaffected by monsters. And since they have to use the trap to summon him on your turn, they're going to have to sacrifice making him unaffected by spells. Which most of the time I kill the Masterpiece with either a spell or just an Honest. A simple drop an Honest from the hand, attack over him for game. And that is going to be it for the going second portion. And, you know, funny thing, you guys, my side deck has always been contributed to just going second. So I have 10 cards for going second. And now the new improvement to my side deck, which is the reason why I am very, very happy about this list, and I'll never change it. This is my going first package. My ties combo, bro. Fam, I need you guys to understand that this got me game every time I resolved it. And it throws so many people off because then people are like, what kind of deck are you running, dude? Like somebody was like, oh, dude, your deck is so savage as the tits. I'm like, thank you, bro. Like, it's just, you have so many different play styles. If they de-barrier your ritual, you can XYZ, they de-barrier XYZ. And you can't ritual, you can Ties of the Brethren. It's an effective combo. You can put a lot of value on your normal summon. It's just so clutch. And putting people under the barrier statue is so insane. Like, I understand, like, in theory, you know, if you're playing against the Dino matchup, they can special summon the Ultimate Conductor because he's a light, but they have to be able to search him. If they play 2 of them, they either have to hard draw him if they have to search him. And if they don't hard draw him, they won't be able to search him because I'm going to negate their Fossil Digs. I'm going to negate their Overraptor. They'll never be able to search him. So if I open up with this in Herald of Perfection, you have to hard draw. You have to hard draw one of your 2 Ultimate Conductor Tyrannos. So you're playing on a gamble now. It's like you have a chance to win or lose. And even if you summon the Conductor Tyranno, you can't use his effect. You're going to have to attack over one or the other. And either way, I'm going to still end up having the Barrier statue or the Herald. And of course, I'm going to negate that dude's effect. So I love it. And like, again, it's so clutch. And actually, I was able to play around an Ultimate Conductor Tyranno with this guy on field. The funny thing is, so when he summoned the Conductor Tyranno, in my mind, I'm thinking he's going to attack over my Herald of Perfection, which I thought was a smart thing. But he didn't know, like, I think he didn't pay attention that I still had Honest. But, like, anyways, so, like, I had Honest in my hand, of course, because I had Barrier statue. And I summoned my Herald of Perfection in attack mode on purpose. The reason why I didn't summon Herald in defense is because I know that if he summons anything with higher than 2800 attack, it can just simply attack over it if it's a light monster. And the thing I have in my mind is, if he summons Ultimate Conductor Tyranno, he can attack Herald in defense, kill it, and then use this effect, pop a monster, and put him face down. So I summoned Herald in attack mode on purpose, so that way, so when he summoned the Conductor, he actually did attack over my Barrier statue, and I just dropped Honest on him. But honestly, I thought he was going to try to attack the Herald of Perfection anyways, because in my mind, get rid of Herald. Herald is much worse than a Barrier statue. But anyways, that is like, it's just such a good combo, you guys. I really want you to understand how powerful the Ties of the Brethren is, specifically in Herald of Perfection, because you have the ultimate negator and then you have Vanity's Emptiness on the field. It's basically like Vanity's except for me. That's why I like this card better than cards like Vanity's Fiend, because Vanity's Fiend hurts everybody, whereas this only hurts my opponent and I can still special summon. And like I said, I know that dinos have that one light monster, but it's just a one light monster. And aside from that, every other deck, like the Zoodiac matchup is a walk in the park. Like they have to be able to beat over him. Like they have to. Just having him on field, they can't summon anything for extra deck. Sure, they can normal Thorblade. Sure, they can normal Whiptail, but they're going to have to attack over him. And as long as you can keep recycling your Honest and searching it out from your deck and special summoning it from your grave with Ritual Sanctuary, you can do it. Like, the longest I've held this guy up under lock, I held the lock for 3 different turns. I'm sorry, for 3 consecutive turns. So the first time I used Honest, I recycled it back with Daigusto Emerald. The second time I used Honest, I actually special summoned it from the graveyard off Ritual Sanctuary and added it, bounced it back to the hand. And the third time, I recycled it and searched it off of Cyber Angel Ben-10. So I literally kept that Honest in rotation for 3 turns. And those 3 turns, the third turn was the final one, and I got all the damage that I needed for game. So it's just so clutch. But even if you just keep this, if you can keep your opponent locked for 1 to 2 turns, you get so far ahead because like 1 turn is all you need with Zoodiacs. Like you're gonna just put like your opponent in like such a bind. And if you guys are wondering